Okay, you can see that I've cut the center divider, and now we can reach in and get that back door. And you can see that it's no better than the front door. So we're just going to throw these away. We will pull out this center piece here, and I'm just going to do that with a large pair of pliers. Okay, and we have now completed all of the cuts that we need, and we're ready to install the new doors. Now is a good time to pull out your shop vac and clean up a little bit. Otherwise you will be spraying plastic shards out of the vents, so cleanup is a good idea. And if you look over to the side here, you can see the AC evaporator core. You can also wash that down. It does have a drain on the bottom of it for condensation, so if you want to clean that out, any mold or mildew, that's also something you can do while we have the box open. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up, and we'll come back and do the actual installation. Okay, before we install the actual components, I want to show you a little bit about what we're going to do from outside the car. This is the HeaterTreater kit, and we have the two doors, we have a spacer that goes in between, and we have an axle that will slide through there, and set screws that will tighten that to both sides. You'll notice that we now have a steel spring pin that is the limit pin, and that will move between the two stop points in the box. Note that the force of the system is on this limit pin, not on the connection with the set screws. So while the set screws are fairly solid, they're not solid enough to withstand the full force of the system, but they don't have to, because that's done with the limit pin. All the set screws are doing is holding the doors to the axle, not withstanding force. Now, one of the tricks that we suggest is to set that set screw, the back one, to the point where the axle just slides in, put that in place, and now we can put the door in and make just this much movement to tighten it down. That is a little difficult to get to, so if you kind of preload it this way, it's very easy to tighten it down. So we'll leave it loosened to this extent, put it in place with the Allen wrench connected to the set screw, and then when we're ready to tighten it, we just push that. Okay, as you can see, I've put the two doors in place with the Allen wrench extended into the set screw, and started to thread the axle through. That will thread through. We want to make sure we keep the limit pin between these two stop points and push it all the way into that. Okay, and then we want to turn that axle all the way clockwise against the stop point. Okay, and that's the bottom position of the door, and I'll now tighten the set screws in place. And you can see that back one's going to be fairly easy because we already have the Allen wrench in place. The front one you'll be able to see pretty quickly, so let me do that and get back to you. Okay, I got the set screws in place and tightened down, and you can now see that when we turn the axle, we have control over both of the doors, and we'll control the temperature on both sides. And since we turned this all the way to the right, we aligned it to where the stop points are correct. That will give you exactly correct operation. I'm going to show you a little more about the motor, then we'll get back to the box. Okay, this is the actuator motor. Before we put it back in, I want to show you a couple of things. We provide you with a copper spacer that will fit around the outside of this. Note that this is a plastic connector, and adding this little sleeve just adds a little more structural integrity. It's not really required, it's just sort of a precaution. The other thing we provide is a snap connector for a 9-volt battery. And you can just touch the wires to the leads and verify that that motor is working correctly. I don't know if you can see it moving, but I can certainly feel it. And that motor will turn. You can verify that it's correct. You can also use this to turn the alignment of the connection to fit onto the axle. It really doesn't matter what the door position is when you put the motor in place, as long as it's between the two limit points and the motor is connected in place securely. So you can use the battery to turn the connector a little and align it. So I'm going to go ahead and install the motor. We'll be back in a second. I've reinstalled the motor, and again, the position of the door doesn't really matter with respect to the motor, as long as it's between the extents of movement. And just to show you that it works, I've got the system on, and I'm going to turn the control knob, and I can make that door go up or down now, and that's going to regulate the amount of air that's blowing through the heater core and will control the temperature. So we're ready to seal the box back up, and I'll be back to you after we've done the sealing. I've now put the cutout piece back in place, and you'll note that I put this little spring clip back over it, and this is now fit over the tongue and groove on the bottom, and with the spring in place, it's actually fairly sturdy the way it is. A lot of cars will have a screw here in place of this spring, so don't feel like you need the spring, but you can see that thing is in there pretty good. I do have my hot glue gun, and I'm going to just tack weld, it's probably not the right term, but just tack weld the little spot there with hot glue to kind of hold it in place. That's not really necessary, just using the tape is enough, but I just wanted to show you how you could do that if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and tape over that with the metal tape that's provided in the kit, and show you what the finished product is. Here's the completed repair. You can see that we've sealed the cuts with the provided metal duct tape, and that's actually very good stuff. It will put a good seal on the car. And we now have metal blend doors in place. You saw them move. We will have efficient AC and heat. There is more information and more pictures available on our website, and our website is HeaterTreater.net. HeaterTreater is one word, and we are .net, not .com. So you can also just do a search for HeaterTreater on the internet, and you'll find a reference to our site and be able to get there. There are additional videos available. We have products for multiple makes of automobiles, including Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, and other Jeeps. And this is a common industry problem. But as you can see, this is a fairly simple repair, something you can do yourself, and something that will allow you to fix the heat and AC in your Grand Cherokee at considerably less cost than paying the dealer, which will generally run you between $900 and $1,500. And this is a solid repair, is actually better than what the dealer will do for you, and something that you can do yourself. So please feel free to view our website to get more information, and hope that we get an opportunity to do business with you. We are a professional group of engineers, and will provide whatever support is necessary to make sure you are successful. We take great pride in the fact that we are 100% successful with our repairs, and if you run into problems, we will provide the support necessary to make sure it works correctly. Thank you.